good morning. It's just past 8 this Wednesday morning and we're back again with all the news and breakfast news. I am Nancy Kohli, and over the next 1 hour we'll get you news from across the nation, world, sports and business updates. Stay with us. Let's begin with the top stories first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says decision on Jammu and Kashmir is inspired by nationalism and not politics. In an interview to the news agency, the Prime Minister assures J&K to develop according to the aspiration, dreams and ambitions of the locals. The government achieved exceptional results through Spasht Niti, Sahi Disha. Jammu and Kashmir administration says restrictions being lifted in a phased manner in the Kashmir Valley. The BSF keeps vigil along the India-Pakistan international border ahead of Independence Day. Full dress rehearsals for the grand Independence Day celebrations held across the state. Government takes major step towards fulfilling Prime Minister Modi's promise for heralding a new era of development in Jammu and Kashmir. The Global Investors Summit to be held in Srinagar in October to attract investments in a big way. President Ram Nath Kovind to address the nation on the eve of the 73rd Independence Day. The address will be broadcast on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all the channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Situation improves in the flood-affected areas of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Maharashtra to conduct disease-wise survey of the flood-hit areas for effective response. Efforts on to restore Mumbai-Pune rail link by 16th of this month. India's second moon mission Chandrayaan-2 leaves the Earth's orbit early this morning and successfully enters the lunar transfer trajectory. Chandrayaan-2 to land on the lunar surface on 7th September. In international news, the US delays new 10% tariff on the Chinese electronics products to 15th December. The delay affects electronics including cell phones, laptops and video games consoles and some clothing products and also shoes and certain toys. In sports news, India beat England by 36 runs to win the Physical Disability World Series 2019. Ravindra Sante scored a quick fire half century to star in India's victory. Third and the final ODI between India and the West Indies to be played at the Queen's Park Oval in the port of Spain, Trinidad. India lead the 3-match series 1-0. Our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed that the government is moving forward with Spasht Niti, Sahi Disha. In an interview to a news agency, Prime Minister Modi said that from children's safety to Chandrayaan-2, from action against the menace of corruption to freeing the Muslim women from the scourge of triple talaq, from Kashmir to Kisan, the NDA government has fulfilled the promises made to the countrymen.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will be developed as per the aspirations and ambitions of the local people. In an exclusive interview to a news agency on completion of 75 days of Modi government's second tenure, the Prime Minister likened Article 370 and Article 35A to chains that have now been broken, and the people in the region will now shape their own destiny. Every government benchmarks itself over first 100 days. The PM has compressed his report card to 75 days. He began the interview by answering questions on revocation of Article 37, saying it is welcomed by many and opposed by some. Responding unequivocally, PM Modi said that the people of India, irrespective of what their political preference, have supported the steps taken in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. This is about nation, not politics. The people of India are seeing that tough but essential decisions that were earlier assumed to be impossible are becoming a reality. He added that those who have opposed the decisions about Kashmir are the usual vested interest groups, political dynasties, those who have sympathies with terror and some friends in the opposition. The PM has a clear view on the issue with clear approach. Instead of the vicious cycle of poverty, the people need more economic opportunities. For years, intimidation ruled the roost. Let us now give development a chance. He also assured people from these regions that they will develop as per the wishes of local people. The dreams and ambitions will be topmost aim to boost development and bring peace. He added that from BPOs to startups, from food processing to tourism, many industries can avail of investments and create opportunities for the local youth, and the education and skill development will also bloom. Speaking about concerns of people over democracy, the Prime Minister said that people voted in large numbers during the Panchayat elections last year, which went away peacefully. He expressed satisfaction that now Panchayats are back at the forefront of furthering development and human empowerment. Swachh Bharat, rural electrification and other such initiatives are reaching the grassroots. This is what democracy truly is. Speaking about other issues, PM Modi said that the government has come back with a stronger mandate. We were able to achieve this in first 75 days, what was the outcome of robust pace we were able to build in last 5 years. The PM said that the first session of 17th Lok Sabha has been a record-creating one. It was the most productive session since 1952. The government also set a new record of passing a record 36 bills in a single session, including historic ones such as JNK Reorganization Bill 2019 and Triple Talaq Bill. On the National Medical Commission Bill, the Prime Minister said earlier government too had given a thought of reforming health sector but could not go through it. NDA government, however, came out with the bill, which is far-reaching reform in this space, containing multiple reforms that curb avenues of corruption and boost transparency. He added that now more talented youth can take up medicine as a profession, which will help us increase the number of medical professionals. He also said that Ayushman Bharat is bringing about a revolution in the healthcare sector, increasing awareness as well as affordability of quality healthcare, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns. Besides, he said that his government has made several big-ticket announcements for farmers, infrastructure, traders, workers, startups and more. Bureau Report, DD News.
The Jammu and Kashmir government has said that the restrictions are being eased out in a phased manner in the Kashmir Valley, and the situation in the Jammu division has also been restored. The state government spokesperson and the Principal Secretary Planning, Rohit Kansal, said on Tuesday that restrictions are being eased out after a local assessment by the relevant local authorities of different areas and the localities of the Kashmir division in a phased manner.
Prohibitory orders are indeed being given in most places. Prohibitory orders having been relaxed in almost the entire Jammu division and large parts of Kashmir.
And referring to the initiatives taken by the government with the reference to the various essential services, the Principal Secretary Planning, Rohit Kansal, informed that medical services are being provided to the people without any hindrance. He said that around 13,500 OPDs have been given requisite medical treatment and 1,400 new admissions have also been done, besides performing 600 medical procedures. He said that the availability of all the drugs, including the life-saving, have been ensured in every hospital across the valley. The national highway continues to function normally, and the 100 heavy vehicles carrying the LPG and other essentials are plying on a daily basis. Flights from the valley are operating normally, and around 14 to 1500 light motor and other vehicles are plying on a daily basis as well. Rohit Kansal said that the state is all set to celebrate 15th August in a grand manner, and all the arrangements have been made for that.
We are all set to celebrate 15th of August in a grand and befitting manner, and all arrangements have been finalized for the same. There have been no reports of any significant untoward incident in the past 24 hours.
And as part of this preparations for Independence Day celebrations, full dress rehearsals were held in several districts across Jammu and Kashmir. Full dress rehearsals was held in Srinagar, where the Divisional Commissioner, Kashmir, Basir Ahmed Khan, unfurled the tricolour and inspected the parade and took the salute at the march past. The Department of Academy of Art, Culture and Languages, Police, the CRPF and the BSF presented colourful cultural events in Kashmiri, Urdu, Dogri, Ladakhi and Punjabi languages on the occasion. The DGP Dilbag Singh and other senior officials of the administration were also present on the occasion. And full dress rehearsal was also held at the district police lines in Kupwara. The additional district development commissioner Muhammad Ashraf Bhatt unfurled the national flag and took salute at the march past comprising the contingents of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, the IRP, the CRPF, the JK Home Guards and the police commandos. Several senior officials of the district administration were also present on the occasion. And in Jammu, rehearsals were held in all the districts. The events saw enthusiastic participation of student contingents and cultural troops from several schools. Besides that, several contingents from the NCC, the JNK Police, the armed and paramilitary forces also participated in the event. Full dress rehearsals were held in Kathua and Udhampur. The event saw participation of school students in large numbers, civil society members, senior civil and police functionaries. Meanwhile, security has been beefed up across Jammu and Kashmir ahead of Independence Day celebrations, and vehicles are being checked in Rajouri region to avoid any unlawful activity. The security also in the Poonch sector has also been tightened. The additional army force and local police have also been deployed in Poonch ahead of the Independence Day. And security has also been tightened along the international border in Jammu. The border security force is keeping a close vigil along the India-Pakistan international border. In more news, a slew of petitions have been filed in the Supreme Court challenging the legal veracity of the Modi government's action to abrogate Article 370, getting rid of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. And hearing a plea which sought lifting of restrictions in the region that were imposed after the 5th of August landmark legislation, the Supreme Court said that the situation in the state is very sensitive and reasonable time should be given to the government to ensure normalcy there. A 3-judge bench also said that it should be ensured that there is no loss of life. The matter will be taken further after 2 weeks.
People celebrated Eid in all parts of Jammu and Kashmir on Monday, and the day before stepped out in the markets to even do their shopping. But when a petition filed by Congress activist Tehseen Poonawalla seeking immediate order to the Centre for lifting all restrictions in the region was taken up by the Apex Court on Tuesday, it not only refused to pass any immediate order but said that the situation in Jammu and Kashmir is very sensitive and reasonable time should be given to the government to ensure normalcy there. The Centre's Attorney General K.K. Venugopal told the 3-judge bench headed by Justice Arun Mishra that it is reviewing the situation in the region on a day-to-day basis. Relaxations are being ordered based on reports from respective district magistrates. Centre said that we have to ensure that law and order situation in Jammu and Kashmir is maintained. The AG said it took 3 months to restore normalcy after gunning down of terrorist Burhan Wani in July 2016. He added that 44,000 people have been killed since 1990 by extremists with guidance and support from across the border. He further said that it will take a few days to bring back normalcy in the present situation, while adding that not a single death has been reported since last Monday after restrictions were imposed. The Apex Court's response was telltale in its support to the Centre's stand. It said, the government's endeavour is to restore normalcy. That is why they are reviewing the situation on a day-to-day basis. If tomorrow anything happens in Jammu and Kashmir, who will be responsible? Obviously the Centre. Nothing can be done overnight. Normalcy will return and we expect it will come with time. What is important is it has to be ensured that no life is lost. The bench also told the petitioner to give the matter another 2 weeks, after which it could be taken up again if required. It was also critical of the petitioner for filing what it called a poorly drafted plea, adding specific instances need to be given where people are facing difficulty due to restrictions for the court to consider granting any sort of relief. With inputs from Vikas Sarthi in New Delhi, DD News.
And the administration in Kashmir is fast tracking its efforts to bring in investment and generate jobs in the region. For years, Article 370 and its provisions restricted Jammu and Kashmir's industrial growth and development. And now, with the winds of change finally blowing in the region, it is going to open new vistas for industrialists and the local citizens alike.
Seeking to attract businesses to Jammu and Kashmir, the state administration has announced a 3-day Global Investors Summit to be held in Srinagar from October 12th. The Investors Summit is considered crucial for the state for many reasons.
We have decided to hold the first ever Global Investment Summit in the state in the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh regions from 12th to 14th of October this year. We have slated the opening session in Srinagar on the 12th of October.
The meet will provide Jammu and Kashmir an opportunity to showcase its strengths, strategies and potential. It will help allay fears and apprehensions in the minds of the trade and business community. Trade and industry organizations will come to know firsthand about business-friendly policies of the government. Assessment of infrastructure, natural resources, raw material and skill and unskilled manpower available will be possible. Entrepreneurs will be able to identify business opportunities. It will present immense opportunities to develop contacts between Jammu and Kashmir and business community and between local and outside business communities. The Confederation of Indian Industries will be the national partner for the investors meet. An MOU has been signed by Jammu and Kashmir Trade Promotion Organization and CII for organization and management of the event. DD India.
And let's now go across to our correspondent Dharmesh Bharti, who is joining us from Srinagar this morning. Dharmesh, good morning. So, of course, security is tight, and of course, preparations also and restrictions also being lifted in a phased manner there across the state. Just give us a sense of what you are seeing around you, and also the preparations there for Independence Day.
Nancy, in Srinagar, the situation is absolutely normal. The full rehearsals were held across all districts in Jammu and Kashmir of Independence Day. Apart from contingent from CRPF, Jammu and Kashmir Police and other paramilitary forces, they participated. Along with them, many school children and young people also participated, and they presented the cultural programs at various places. So we can say that almost in all the district, now people and the youth are preparing for the Independence Day. So almost the situation is normal. And another important development is Jammu and Kashmir government is soon in the month of October will organize Jammu and Kashmir Investment Summit. So that is again a very important development in the state. Nancy.
Absolutely, something to look forward to in a big way, Dharmesh. But also talking about the Supreme Court's observation as far as restrictions there are concerned, and Supreme Court is of the view that reasonable time needs to be given to restore normalcy there, across the state. What's the sense you're getting as far as these observations coming in by the Supreme Court is concerned? People are understanding that these are very necessary, the need of the hour at this point in time.
As far as the normalcy is concerned, already in the section 144 has been lifted in the Jammu region, and even in the valley, the situation is being assessed every day. And yesterday, the spokesperson of the government said that we are every day we are assessing the situation, and slowly and gradually we are going to ease the restrictions.
Okay. All right, Dharmesh, thanks for joining us and sharing those inputs. Thanks very much. And moving on now, thousands of devotees on Tuesday joined the Chari Mubarak procession to Buddha Amarnath Shrine at Poonch in Jammu. The holy procession, led by Swami Vishwamatan Nand Saraswati, was taken out from Dashnami Akhada temple complex to Buddha Amarnath Shrine at Monday. Special rituals amidst chanting of Vedic mantras were performed at the Akhada temple, where Deputy Commissioner Rahul Yadav, the DIG Rajouri Poonch Range Vivek Gupta and SSP Poonch Ramesh Angral were present. Swami Vishwatamanand Saraswati appealed for unity, tranquility, brotherhood and peace in the region. Moving on now, President Ram Nath Kovind will address the nation on the eve of the 73rd Independence Day. The address will be broadcast on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all the channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. The broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by the broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. And an update now on the flood situation. Well, after days of incessant rains, the situation has improved in many parts of Kerala and Karnataka, with the water receding in the affected areas. In Kerala, as the death toll in the floods and landslips has gone up to 88, the authorities are on a high alert, with the weathermen forecasting isolated extremely heavy rainfall in the next 48 hours. A red alert has also been issued in the districts of Malappuram and Kozhikode for today. Meanwhile, in Karnataka, the situation improved with the water receding in the affected areas. The focus by and large has now shifted to relief and rehabilitation work, with the officials now concentrating on restoring road connectivity, power and water supply. The State Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa visited the flood-affected areas of Shivamogga to oversee the relief work and held discussion with the officials. And the Maharashtra government's public health department would conduct disease-wise survey of the flooded areas for effective response to the situation arising out of any outbreak. The surveys are also being conducted on the basis of diseases like fever, diarrhea and jaundice. There are 570 medical aid teams in the flooded areas, of which 196 are Kolhapur and 144 in Sangli, providing various health services. Meanwhile, efforts are on to restore Mumbai-Pune railway network till the 16th of this month. And the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has announced around 6,800 crore rupee assistance for the flood-affected persons in the state. The Indian Air Force conducted relief operation in the flood-affected Kurundawad village and the Shirol village of the Kolhapur district. About 38 tons of relief material was transported by the Air Force's Mi-17 helicopter to the flood-ravaged Kolhapur district in Maharashtra. And moving on now, in fact, the president of the 73rd session of the UNGA has in fact expressed solidarity with India over the floods wreaking havoc in southern and the western parts of the country. And in fact, the spokesperson has also said that she has sent her condolences to the people and the government of India after the monsoon floods in the southern and the western parts of the country, which led to over 140 deaths and hundreds of thousands of people being evacuated. She said the president of the UNGA expressed her solidarity to all of those who were affected by this natural disaster. In some other news now, the final orbit raising maneuver of Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft was successfully carried out today at 2:21 in the morning, and during the maneuver, the spacecraft's liquid engine was fired for about 1200 seconds. Now, with this, Chandrayaan-2 entered the lunar transfer trajectory. Earlier on, the spacecraft's orbit was progressively increased 5 times during 23rd of July till the 6th of August this year. And since its launch on 22nd July this year, all the systems on board Chandrayaan-2 spacecraft are performing normal. Chandrayaan-2 will approach the moon on 20th August this year, and the spacecraft's liquid engine will be fired again to insert the spacecraft into a lunar orbit. Moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Tuesday that Sushma Swaraj, as the External Affairs Minister, transformed her ministry from being bound to protocol to one oriented as to people's call, and recalled that she had urged him to deliver his first UN speech from a prepared text and not speak impromptu. Joined by leaders from all the major political parties, Prime Minister Modi paid rich tributes to BJP stalwart who died last week at a condolence meeting in New Delhi. At the function attended by union ministers, the BJP President Amit Shah and parliamentarians from other parties, Prime Minister Modi said that the former minister was an inspiration and lauded the manner that she vacated the official ministerial bungalow as soon as the election process got over. The function was also attended by the deceased leader's husband and former Mizoram Governor Suraj Kaushal and their daughter Basuri Swaraj. And leaders from across political spectrum paid rich tributes to the late leader and remembered her contribution to public and social life. In some other news now, the National Investigation Agency has arrested absconding accused Jahirul Sheikh from Indore on Sunday in connection with the Bardhawan blast case. He was produced before the judicial magistrate on Monday. A charge sheet was filed against Sheikh for his direct involvement in the conspiracy of Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh to commit the terror acts and wage war against the government of India and Bangladesh. A total of 33 accused have been charge sheeted in this case. Jahirul is a senior leader of the Nadia module in West Bengal. He had attended a number of training camps conducted by the group, and he was also involved in the activities of the group in India to further its cause. Moving on now, in fact, the SC/ST students of the Delhi government schools will continue paying 50 rupees as CBSE board examination fee, and the rest of the revised amount, which comes to around 1,150, that will be paid to the board by the city government. The decision for giving the relief to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe students was taken following a direction of the HRD ministry. The CBSE last week notified an increase in the examination fees for classes 10th and 12th, the registration fees for classes 9th and 11th, and the migration fees. And moving on now to some international news, the United States is delaying until 15th December the imposition of new 10% tariff on the Chinese electronics, but going ahead with new duties starting 1st September on $300 billion in Chinese goods. The latest round of tariffs, which President Donald Trump announced on 1st of August, means that all the Chinese imports into the US would be subject to additional duties. The sides were due to hold another round of meetings in Washington in September. And let's move on now and take a look at some sports news. In fact, India eye another series victory when they will be up against West Indies in the third and the final ODI today at the Port of Spain. And all eyes will be on opener Shikhar Dhawan, who has managed to score in the double figures only once in 4 matches against the West Indies in the ongoing tour, while West Indies, on the other hand, would be desperate to save the series with a win.
After a convincing victory in the second ODI, Virat Kohli-led Indian team will look to clinch the 3-match series against host West Indies at the Queen's Park on Wednesday. With the opening game washed out, the India lead the series 1-0, and a win in the third ODI will ensure India's dominance over the Windies, having already whitewashed the T20 champions in the shortest format. India are on the verge of registering their 9th successive series win against West Indies, while Caribbean will also look to win and level the 3-match series. In the last match, Virat Kohli continued his dominance in the 50-over format, scoring his 42nd century, while Shreyas Iyer made a strong case for himself with a fluent 71 on his return. However, all eyes will be on opener Shikhar Dhawan, who has managed to score in double figures only once in 4 matches against the West Indies in the ongoing tour. In the bowling department, Bhuvneshwar Kumar produced impressive figures of 4 for 31 in the last match, and he looked to carry on his great form in the coming matches of the tour. The likes of Mohammad Shami, Khalil Ahmed, Kuldeep Yadav will also look to do well for the team. Windies will hope for an improved batting performance, especially their middle order batsmen will have to bat more sensibly. Caribbean, much like they did in the World Cup, allowed their opponents to come back into the game after being in a strong position. West Indies would be desperate to save the series with a win, but for that to happen, their batting unit will have to take more responsibility. Sports Desk, DD News.
And India won the Physical Disability World Series 2019 in England after defeating the hosts in the finals at the New Road Stadium in Worcester. The Indian team defeated England by 36 runs in the final on Tuesday to clinch the elusive trophy. The Six-Nation tournament was organised by the England and the Wales Cricket Board. Ravindra Sante scored a quick fire half-century to star in India's victory. And batting first in the game, India posted a huge total of 180 runs on the board before successfully defending it to win the game comfortably. It was a brilliant all-round performance from the Indian team, which played some good cricket throughout the tournament. And in a historic move, the International Cricket Council and the Commonwealth Games Federation confirmed the inclusion of the women's T20 cricket at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. As many as 8 international teams will compete in the 2022 Commonwealth Games after a joint bid by the ICC and the England and Wales Cricket Board. All the matches will be played at the Edgbaston Cricket Ground. And this is the first time that cricket has been included in the Commonwealth Games since 1998 in Kuala Lumpur, when South Africa won the gold in the men's 50-over competition. The Commonwealth Games has a variety of core sports, but organizers can also add optional sports, and 3 have been added to the Birmingham 2022 program. And news now from back home. Uttarakhand Cricket Board's 19-year wait has finally ended. Uttarakhand has got full recognition of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI. The Committee of Administrators selected by the Supreme Court on Tuesday gave full recognition to the Cricket Association of Uttarakhand from the BCCI. Now, along with the players, the name of the state will also be seen shining on the international board. And with this decision of the BCCI, every cricketer in the state is very proud. And with that, let's now move on to all the business news, and let's go across, in fact, to my colleague Anchal for that.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy. And today, the third trading day session, that's Wednesday. However, this week is very truncated because of 2 holidays, that is 15th August and 12th August was the celebration for Eid. First of all, let's have a look at those stories which are making headlines in the world of business, and we are going to talk about good news on the inflation front. Yes, consumer inflation eased to 3.15% in July from 3.18% in the previous month. Government data showed yesterday. Data also meant that retail inflation, the rate of increase in consumer prices determined by CPI, came in below the RBI's India's medium-term target of 4% for the 12th month in a row. Consumer inflation last month was lower than economists' estimates. The consumer inflation data supports the RBI's decision this month to cut the repo rate to a 9-year low of 5.4%. Repo rate is the key interest rate of the RBI, which lends short-term funds to commercial banks. And now good news for the consumers as well. The Rules for Consumer Protection Act 2019 recently passed by Parliament would be framed within 3 months, and the states would be consulted during the process. Minister of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution Ram Nath Kovind said yesterday. The minister also made it very clear that manufacturers and service providers making false, misleading claims will be penalized once the new act came into force. While the first offence of misleading claims will cost the manufacturer or service provider rupees 20 lakh, the subsequent offence will lead to penalty of rupees 50 lakh. If the cases land up in court, they may even get imprisonment up to 5 years. Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs, yesterday launched the Swachh Sarvekshan 2020, the 5th edition of annual cleanliness survey conducted by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in New Delhi. Alongside the Swachh Sarvekshan 2020 Toolkit for SPM Water Plus Protocol and Toolkit of Swachh Nagar, an integrated waste management app and artificial intelligence enabled MSBM app was also launched. The new Swachh Bharat Anthem was also launched at the Swachh Sarvekshan 2020. On the occasion, the minister said that in the last 5 years, the project has been transformed as a Jan Andolan.
What we have witnessed during this 5-year-long marathon is the transformation from a project of the government to a project which is now a people's project or a Jan Andolan. I think there is very wide acceptance of this key flagship programs, which is in a sense also the platform or the fulcrum on which the other urban rejuvenation missions are. So I'm very happy with that.
Now news from Supreme Court. Supreme Court has asked Noida and Greater Noida Authority to begin registration process to facilitate delivery of houses to the owners. The court warned officials that those responsible for causing delay in this will be put behind bars.
कोर्ट ने नोएडा और ग्रेटर नोएडा अथॉरिटी को बड़ी स्ट्रांगली कहा, सीधे साधे शब्दों में कहें तो डांट लगाई कि आप एग्रीमेंट्स का क्या कर रहे हैं। जो होम बायर के साथ एग्रीमेंट्स होने हैं, जो 10 से 11 हज़ार लोग वहाँ रह रहे हैं, उनका एग्रीमेंट के बारे में अभी क्या प्रोग्रेस हुआ है। नोएडा और ग्रेटर नोएडा अथॉरिटी की तरफ से कहा गया कि उन्होंने कुछ स्टेप्स लिए हैं और हो सकता है कि तुरंत जितनी जल्दी हो, कुछ हफ्तों में जो लोग रह रहे हैं उनकी असुविधा दूर हो जाएगी, उनके एग्रीमेंट रजिस्ट्रेशन वगैरह पूरे हो जाएंगे।
So it's a good news for home buyers, and that's all we have in this edition of Finance World. Back to Nancy for other news updates.
Thanks, Anshul, for all of that business news. Well, let's now move on to our next segment and take a look at what the national dailies are carrying this morning. We're beginning first with the news from the Economic Times, and well, this says the government won't go ahead with new CSR rules, and in fact this talks about how the decision follows suggestions by a panel which wants breaches to be treated as civil offences, backs penalties, while the government will not operationalize the new corporate social responsibility provisions in the recently amended Companies Act that make violations punishable by jail. The government will not issue follow-up rules required to implement the provisions that had drawn sharp criticism, and in fact the decision follows recommendations by a high-level committee on the CSR that submitted its report to the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And let's now move on to this news from the Pioneer. In fact, this is about what the Pakistan minister, Pakistan's foreign minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi, has had to say, that Muslim world will not back them on Kashmir. He said, in fact, he's asked his countrymen to not live in a fool's paradise, quote unquote, as he highlighted that it will not be easy for Islamabad to get the support of the UNSC as well as the Muslim world against India's decision to withdraw Jammu and Kashmir's special status. In fact, India has categorically told the international community that its move to scrap Article 370 of the Constitution, removing special status to Jammu and Kashmir, is an internal matter, and has also advised Pakistan to accept the reality. And in fact, in some more economic news coming in from Economic Times once again, while this talks about how the finance minister may consult the law minister on the FPI surcharge, while the finance ministry may soon consult the law ministry on how best to provide relief to foreign portfolio investors from the super rate surcharge that was announced in the budget. And in fact, the government is also exploring various options, and the one considered most effective and legally feasible will be taken up. The surcharge has taken effect after presidential assent to the finance bill this talks about. And towards the end, we're getting a news, in fact, from on the weather front, and this is from Hindustan Times, where data says that more rain in less time has led to flooding. That is one reason attributed to flooding. In August 2018, Kerala faced one of the worst floods in its history. Now, in the 2 weeks ending 22nd August last year, the state received around 652.4 millimeter of rain. But in fact, these events such as 2018 floods have drawn attention to the trend of increasing skewness in rainfall patterns. Now, total rain in a year might not change significantly, but is it the case that increasingly large parts of the monsoon season are dry and there is deluge in a short time span? Well, this is not a matter of mere statistical interest, it says, while no rain during large parts of the monsoon can delay and also derail sowing and the growth of crops. In fact, this further talks about how sudden burst of rain can lead to flooding and replenish the less groundwater than what spread out and regular rainfall would do. So here's in fact a data analysis of what it looks like, how more rain in less time is being considered as the reason behind flooding that we are seeing in many parts. Of course, letting the let up of rains is what we are seeing, but it's been really bad in the past few days. With that, it's a wrap on the morning print for now, but let's move on now to our next segment, the history of the day, to take a look at the significance of this day in the past.
On this day in the year 1947, the Constituent Assembly of India met in the Constitution Hall, now the Central Hall of Parliament, on the eve of the country's independence. In 1945, on this day, US President Truman announced that Japan had surrendered unconditionally, ending the Second World War. On this day in 1941, a high-level meeting between British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and US President Franklin Roosevelt was held for several days. Following this meeting, a joint statement was issued stating that Britain and the United States would work together for the downfall of Hitler. The declaration was called Atlantic Charter.
The facade of Parliament House lit up on Tuesday evening with hundreds of multicolored lights as the Prime Minister inaugurated a special dynamic system of over 800 LEDs installed to enhance the building's grandeur. 875 LED lights, which will change the color every few seconds, have been placed on the facade of Parliament House. They are power efficient and use only 1/5 of the electricity compared to other varieties. The inauguration was attended by the members of Parliament, and everyone watched as the lighting system enhanced the beauty and the visibility of the building. A similar lighting system was installed in South and North Block in 2017. And time now for our Good News India story. While Prime Minister Modi's call for water conservation is being answered in many ways across the country. In the face of a looming water crisis, it clearly appears that people everywhere are waking up to the reality of the troubled times ahead. Here's Tumul Kakar's report in Meerut, which is an example that inspires many of us to do something similar. Take a look at the story.
A recent survey on water scarcity places India among 17 nations facing a worst-case scenario. It's definitely time to act. Prime Minister Modi clearly underlined the seriousness of the matter and set in motion a campaign to combat it. His words touched a chord, and people from all walks of life responded.
As our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi spoke about water conservation in Man Ki Baat, we, the disciples of Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, under his order, have taken this initiative to conserve water with the help of rainwater harvesting. This is Shri Shri Rain Harvesting Pariyojana. In this Pariyojana, we have decided to collect all this rainwater inside the drum to transfer all this water to the water table so that the level of water table may rise and this water may be utilized later from summer sievals and all. We have also decided to collect the water from the roofs to the water table so that the level may rise. There you can see there are two inlets and a drum inside where the water will be stored.
Members of Art of Living's Meerut chapter have begun water harvesting on their roofs in a big way, and also using various means to enable water collected on the streets to flow back into the earth. As we live in an age when nature is increasingly revealing her inability to sustain our needs, survival without water is impossible, and the sooner we wake up to the reality of the need to conserve water, the better it is for us. From Meerut with Tumul Kakar, Good News India, DD News.
And let's now take a look at the weather report across the country for today. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Breakfast News. But before we go, we are leaving you with a beautiful patriotic song sung by Constable Lovely Singh of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the ITBP, dedicating it to the brave hearts of the ITBP on the 73rd Independence Day. Enjoy that song and we wish you a great day ahead. Thanks for being with us.
गुजरने वाली हवा बता मेरा इतना काम करेगी क्या मेरे गाँव जा मेरे दोस्तों को सलाम दे मेरे गाँव में है जो वो गली जहाँ रहती है मेरी दिलरुबा उसे मेरे प्यार का जाम दे उसे मेरे प्यार का जाम दे वहीं थोड़ी दूर है घर मेरा मेरे घर में है मेरी बूढ़ी माँ मेरी माँ के पैरों को छू के तू उसे उसके बेटे का नाम दे गुजरने वाली हवा जरा मेरे दोस्तों मेरी दिलरुबा मेरी माँ को मेरा प्याम दे उन्हें जा के तू ये पैगाम दे मैं वापस आऊंगा मैं वापस आऊंगा फिर अपने गाँव में उसी की छाँव में कि माँ के आंचल से गाँव के पीपल से किसी के काजल से किया जो वादा था वो निभाऊंगा मैं एक दिन आऊंगा मैं एक दिन आऊंगा मैं एक दिन आऊंगा